Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, here we go. The second hour kicking off already on this Monday morning of July 6th. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start. Hopefully you had a good 4th of July weekend and you're ready to hit up a brand new work week here. Brewers-wise, we talked the first hour full of Brewers, and just a quick note, they don't do that last chance voting. I looked it up on the All-Star thing, so I think the only chance for Bryce Harang to get in would be injury or somebody not playing and potentially elevate. But Justin, there you have got the numbers here between him and Ozzie Albies for this season. So yeah, kind of break it down.
Yeah,
for us here.
Harang's winning in WAR, wins above replacement, runs batted in, stolen bases, on base percentage, slugging, OPS and OPS plus. Like, he's winning in most of the major categories, and like, he's only one home run behind and like 3 points behind in batting average. So one or two hits, he's above him in batting average, and two home runs and they're tied. Yeah. So he looks like the significantly better second baseman by this metric. Just the Braves have a much bigger market, and the fan voting basically got their guy in.
Yeah,
which Ozzie Albies, he's no slouch, but Harang looks much better.
Yeah, I would agree, and I know we're homers too, but I'd still agree.
I mean, if you see what I'm looking at, the stats don't lie.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So we'll get back to some more Brewers talk as they get set for a 5-game series going up against the Cardinals starting tonight. Shane Drowan will get the start for the Brewers. One Brewer starter that we know we won't see for a while is going to be Brandon Woodruff, as he has landed back on the injured list with a similar injury to what kept him out for nearly 6 weeks. So does that make it for you, Brewers fans, a little bit more important for the team to be aggressive at the trade deadline to maybe get another starting pitcher? Let us know. Hit us up with your thoughts, 715-830-1912, or you can give me text or give us a shout on the phone lines or on the Section 105 chat room. A lot of you on the texting line saying, yes, the Brewers should go out there and get another starting pitcher. So we'll get back to that. But something that another newsworthy note from a few days ago, the Badgers have a new athletic director. And it's a big hire. But the Badgers bringing back Shawn Eichorst as the new athletic director. He is a Wisconsin native. He is a UW-Whitewater graduate, played football there. He did work under Barry Alvarez when Barry Alvarez was the athletic director. But he does have experience being an athletic director at a Division I program. Was the athletic director at Miami for a hot minute, but was also the Nebraska athletic director. And that's where maybe some Badgers fans are a little bit concerned because, well, Nebraska fans don't have a whole lot of positive things to say about him. He was the athletic director when Nebraska decided to part ways with longtime football coach Bo Pelini, and then Nebraska's struggles since then with their football department. He has most recently been a part of the of Texas, where he was the chief operating officer and associate athletic director. But so Miami from 2011 to 2012, Nebraska 2012 to 2017. It's not a splash hire. I don't think we can call this a splash hire, right? I mean, it's. I think a lot of us were kind of wondering, was Wisconsin going to target a Wisconsin guy? Well, it looks like that's what they were targeting, is a Wisconsin guy. So, Barry Alvarez guy, but worked under him, played football at UW-Whitewater, got his chops, working under the administration of Wisconsin and Barry Alvarez and such. But I've got mixed feelings on this one. I don't know about you, Justin, but I've got mixed feelings because you look at his stops at Nebraska, they weren't great. I know, like, I think it was Will Compton who was, busting with the boys, and he played football in the NFL, but was a Nebraska guy. He is not a Shawn Eichorst fan, and I know a lot of Nebraska fans are saying, sorry, Wisconsin fans, I get it. It was, almost 10 years ago now when you think about it, and things could change in that, but I don't know. I've really got mixed feelings on this one. And where do you kind of stand on this?
This one's tough. I want to look into him more because obviously everybody knows kind of how the football went under him, which wasn't great. But Nebraska also had a period where they just were not great at football. Maybe it was just deeper than the athletic director. But I'd like to see how their other sports under him did because, well, football is the big thing. You got to remember the athletic director covers every sport. Everybody wants to see like the lack of success the football program had and the mixed success the basketball program had under McIntosh. But you got to remember, like, he's in charge of every sport. The women's hockey team won, I think, 3 national titles. Mm-hmm. Volleyball won 1 and was a game away from it. So I'd like to see what else he did at Nebraska. And maybe he's in here to be the one to fire Luke Fickell. If Fickell has another down year, he was a McIntosh guy. Maybe Eichorst is in here to basically hand him his papers if they have another down year, especially with how weak the schedule is this year for the Badgers. So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because you look at the Nebraska tenure, and that was let's say it was a long time ago. I mean, in a sports sense, it was a hot minute ago, or a long time ago. But this is a huge hire for Wisconsin because you look at it too. They don't have their chancellor president, and you'd like to see the AD and the chancellor on the same page, especially in the current landscape of college sports. It's completely different too. To when Shawn was the last time an athletic director, the college world, in case you've missed it, people, has changed quite a bit, right? It's changed quite a bit. It's not the same. So it sure seems like not only did Wisconsin maybe prioritize somebody who knows the culture, knows Wisconsin sports, has understanding, but also valued experience at that athletic director position. But is it experience that will benefit them going forward in this current landscape of college sports? That remains to be seen, I think, at this point in time. I mean, that we don't really know that. Does it help that he, got to work at Texas here for a little bit? We've seen a resurgence from the Texas football program, with Steve Sarkisian and that. So maybe that's a benefit to that, because I think the big thing here is when you look at it from a Wisconsin sports perspective, what is the biggest program that needs to be fixed? Football. It's football. You mentioned it. Mark Johnson, women's hockey has just been a perennial powerhouse for a long time now. Men's basketball, yes, I think a lot of us would like to see deeper postseason runs, but they've at least been putting themselves in that position to get that. And I think if you compare Greg Gard and what the job that the men's basketball team has done compared to football, it's not even close. Basketball is in a good spot. Women's basketball seems to have taken some strides. We'll see. I mean, they performed, I think, a little bit above expectations, but from a recruiting standpoint, it seems like they've got some really good players, especially local players, with that. Men's hockey surprised people last year, making a nice bounce back year. It boils down to football. Can he fix this football program? That's the biggest question here, and that's going to be the biggest test for him going forward as athletic director is, can he get this football program back on track, whether that's Luke Fickell as the head coach or somebody else. I think right now, if we looked at 2027, if we asked the question, is Luke Fickell going to be the head coach? I'd probably say no, depending on if they make a bowl. They at least have to make a bowl, I think, this year. And maybe it's Luke Fickell backs out. I don't know. But if I were an odds maker, I'd probably say slightly no. And if that is the case, his biggest hire as athletic director is going to be, who is he going to find as head coach for this program? That to me is going to be his biggest obstacle is, yes, you've got NIL and all that money. Can he fix the football program going forward? And you look at Nebraska and it's like, they didn't really do a good job over there. But again, maybe working under Texas for a little bit, he learned some things.
Yep.
So,
well, the NIL era is different, so maybe he did. But also, I mean, the Badgers now hopefully have a quarterback that will remain healthy and can actually throw the ball, Colton Joseph. I mean, but also, I mean, looking at the schedule, it's an easy schedule. There are, I'd say, 9 winnable games on the schedule.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where the minimum's got to be at least bowl eligible, right?
Yeah, you have to win 6 this year. Yeah. If it's not, Fickle's out. But if he can win about 7, including a bowl game, he might get another chance, especially because the recruiting around Wisconsin has seemed to gotten a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so I think it's in Luke Fickle's hands right now that he controls his destiny at this point. You go and become bowl eligible because you're right. I mean, from a recruiting standpoint, if you look at the rankings and you look at the stars, it looks like Wisconsin has done a really good job from a recruiting standpoint this offseason, bringing in a lot of guys. The other part, though, too, is a different college world, and I don't know how many of those guys are going to stick around or decommit and go somewhere else. You know, I hate that. That's what I just it bugs me the most about college sports now is I can't get too excited for recruiting classes because are we actually going to see them suit up and contribute to Wisconsin is the big question. Or are they going to go elsewhere because of paydays and such?
Well, that's the big thing about, like, you know, getting these guys from Wisconsin. You know, you hope that they want to play for the school they watched growing up. So if you can recruit from in-state, you think maybe they'll have a bit more loyalty and stay there for, 3-4 years, however long they're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, Wisconsin fans? Do you like the hire? Do you think this is a good hire for Wisconsin? You know, what are some of the positives? Obviously, he understands Wisconsin. He knows Wisconsin. He's familiar with the program. Hasn't been with the program for a while, but I'm sure he understands Wisconsin culture. And, this was always kind of a thing, too. Maybe more so from a coaching standpoint. But I would imagine, admissions, it's still going to be hard, for players to get admitted to because Wisconsin does have high expectations or high, what do you want to call it, to try to get into to the university, and that's always kind of been a thing for fans that they've always brought up is it's hard to get a lot of good players because of the high standards for admissions. He understands that. He's familiar with that. So he obviously does have experience with Division I, high caliber Division I programs. So, I mean, he brings that to the table. So, yeah, I mean, there are some positives, but there's definitely some negatives to this point. So, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out at this point. I guess, one thing I was reading, too, that one positive, so when he did let go of Bo Pelini, he mentioned, or one of the positives, this is from Bucky's Fifth Quarter, gave him credit for hiring Mike Riley as the head coach at Nebraska. So we'll maybe if that does come to it, that he has to hire a new head coach at Wisconsin. We'll see if that kind of fits in. He is a football guy. He did play football at UW-Whitewater, so, I mean, that's his background. And obviously Whitewater is a pretty darn good Division III program. So, hey, maybe that means Lance Leipold, former Whitewater coach, now at Kansas. There'd be that connection. So,
and that's kind of the one thing that gives me hope is Mike Riley, who was successful at Oregon State, then wasn't so successful at Nebraska. Maybe they just had troubles recruiting, or maybe that was more on the coach. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes you can do all the right things. We all thought Luke Fickle was going to be a great hire.
Yep.
And look how that's worked out. So.
Right. Yep. All right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. Hit us up with your thoughts. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Summer is the season for golf, softball, pickleball, running, and staying active. But you know what? Aches and pains, it can quickly slow you down. That's where Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine comes in. Their experienced team helps weekend warriors and athletes of all ages get back to doing what they love with expert care and treatment options designed to keep you moving. Play more, hurt less. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. You can start the process and make your appointment by visiting cvosm.com. cvosm.com. That's cvosm.com. So today might be a day, too, where you get some social media posts saying thanks for the memories and such, because today is the day that Giannis trade can become officially official, July 6th. So because that's when the NBA's new league year begins. So get ready. If you've kind of been wondering why no thank you posts from the Bucks or anything like that, it could become official today. So maybe that's when it'll finally hit, or maybe a lot of people will say finally and move on in that. But, well, Justin, I haven't talked to you since that trade went down or reported in that. But thoughts? Do you think they got enough in return? Was it something that had to be done and that? I mean, were you surprised? What was your initial reaction when you first heard that?
I mean, yeah, I think it had to be done, to kind of quote you there. I like the return. I mean, you get 4 players, you got an extra, you got 3 first-round picks as well as a first-round swap in the future, I believe. I mean, that's a massive. You get Tyler Hero, Jaquez Jr., Khalil Ware, and I cannot pronounce this last guy's
Kasparis.
name. Yeah, Kasparis. We'll just I mean, that's a massive haul. I remember we asked our little ChatGPT assistant, and it said you would need about 3 first-round picks as well as some role players.
Yep.
And Tyler Hero is definitely more than a role player. I mean, he can slide right into the starting lineup, and then that allowed them to get. I believe they picked Burries with their first pick, which I really liked, and then that allowed them to go get Ament with that second pick, which I know he's viewed as a big boom or bust kind of guy. So I'm happy that they were able to get him with the second pick rather than the first. So I like the return for it. I mean, it was time to move on from Giannis, and how healthy is his body going to remain. So, 4 players and 3 first-round picks, I can't be mad about that.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of weird, I think, seeing those posts and that to see. And then, the more that kind of came out, Jim Ozarski's article we kind of highlighted when it first came out a couple of weeks ago, and just kind of how it all transpired and how it all happened and what led to this point. And that you'd like to say that should be a learning lesson for a lot of teams, but the thing is, it's going to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. And it just felt like the breakup was at that right time. You hate to say that, and I'm a fan and will always be a fan. I always want the Kobe's, the players, the greats to stay with one team, or the Duncans, and even though I was an Orlando Magic fan as a kid, it still burns me that Duncan didn't sign with the Magic, and I blame Doc Rivers for that still. If you don't know that story, it's because he told Tim Duncan's wife or girlfriend at the time when they were recruiting him, hey, can family ride on the planes? And Doc said no, and that was a decision that led Duncan back to the Spurs. So thank you, Doc, for screwing 2 franchises of my fandom. But it just felt like it sucks that I think as a sports fan, you're these star players for your favorite teams, it becomes more and more likely that they're not going to stay with these. I mean, if Tom Brady can leave and go play a couple years and that, it's one of those. So I want to throw a question in here since we're on the NBA side of things. LeBron now possibly going to be playing for different. We know it's not going to be the Lakers. I don't know if it's going to be back to Cleveland for a 3rd time, or Miami for a 2nd time, or the 76ers, or even the Timberwolves are being thrown in there. But, I mean, for somebody who is one of the best of all time, and for some people the best player of all time, does that take a little bit of a hit on his legacy for the amount of different teams that he is going to? I mean, does that factor into it? For some people, it doesn't. It's just a play. But, I mean, does it get kind of annoying? Like, okay, he's going to a different team now, and now the joke's like, okay, is that team going to have to trade for Bronny James? Would it surprise anybody? Let's say he goes to some team and then all of a sudden they trade for Bronny James. Would it surprise you? I don't think it would surprise anybody. I'm waiting for Thanasis to go sign for the Heat, But, I mean, does that take a little bit of a hit with LeBron James? Because what? It's Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland, Lakers, and now somebody else. What's another all-time great player, like the best of the best, that has played for possibly 5 different teams now at this point? Kareem played for 2. Magic only played for 1. Larry only played for 1. Jordan played for 2. I can't think of another one off the top of my head.
How many did Shaq play for?
Oh, that was towards the end of his career.
Yeah, I know it was at the end.
But yeah, Shaq would be up there because he was Orlando, Lakers, Miami, Boston, Cleveland, Phoenix.
Yeah, so
6. Yeah. And did I get it right? Yeah, 6.
Yeah, Magic, Lakers, Heat, Suns, Cavs, Celtics. Yep.
And the thing is, LeBron probably will still get you close to 20 points per game, even at his age, where that's different from Shaq, where he was getting you like 2 points per game.
Shaq was bad at the end.
Yeah. But does it take a little bit of a hit or not really, because it's the NBA and this is the new order of things?
I think I don't think him going to another team takes as big of a hit because, like you said, it's the new order. I think what he did or basically didn't do in LA is more of the hit. I mean, yeah, they won 1 championship, but that was the bubble and after multiple weeks of rest, which allowed him and Anthony Davis to be fully healthy. But if you take away that bubble title, they won, an NBA Cup?
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
And there now people are asking if his jersey should be retired for the Lakers or get a statue. And I'm thinking,
I was just going to bring that up too.
Like, first of all, what jersey number would you retire? And then second of all, he brought you 1 title that was in the bubble. And he had Luka. He always had another player. He had Luka these latest years, and he couldn't get it done. So I think that stains his legacy more than the teams. If you can't win in Los Angeles, then you I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
The thing is like I feel like the Lakers are kind of turning into the Yankees, where they retire a bunch of numbers, and eventually you wonder, are they going to run out of numbers to retire? And they build statues across. Like Kobe, yes. Magic, yes. Kareem, yes. Shaq, yes. But when I think about LeBron, who do I think of him as? Honestly, it kind of surprised me that it was 8 years he spent with the Lakers. So I was like, holy crap, it was that long? 8 years. It's a good thing that the NBA is not like the Major League, or it's not like Major League Baseball or like the Hall of Fame where you got to pick a cap, because then you have the conversation with like Lakers. But you're right, 23-6. He ain't Kobe where he can have 2 numbers retired, 24-8. That can't happen. That can't. Do I view him as an all-time Laker great? He's not going to be the first name that I think of when I think of Laker greats. Maybe for younger fans, probably. Like for my 9-year-old son, he's probably going to think the Lakers because that's all he's known. I mean, he's played for the Lakers for 8 years. He's only known LeBron with the Lakers. I can't see him going back to Cleveland. I think he wants warmer weather. Warriors potentially. I didn't mention them in there too, but I mean, I can't. No, the statues that no. But would it surprise you if they did? It wouldn't surprise me if they did it. I think they're going to, and probably retire the whatever one that he was wearing when they won the championship is maybe the jersey they retire.
I think that was 6.
Was it 6?
But I think he broke the all-time scoring record with 23.
Yeah.
So I could see the statue being built of him, maybe the shot that he hit when he broke the record, because that would make sense.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think LeBron James is either 1 or 2. People go back and forth with him and Jordan, but his tenure with the Lakers, I don't think warrants a jersey retirement.
Did it live up? Did he? And I think you kind of already answered this, but okay, when he went to the Lakers, I think there was these grand visions of multiple championships, and like you mentioned, they got the 1 in the bubble. So was it a disappointing run with LeBron and the Lakers, with the expectations that were at hand? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you ask any fan, it was disappointing. They expected multiple, and now the only ring that they get, people constantly make fun of, is the Mickey Mouse ring. So
yeah,
I think it's a disappointment.
I would say so too.
You get the greatest of all time on your team, and you can't win a season or a championship in a full season. Yeah,
I definitely think that. Any guesses on where you think he's going to go? If you're a Timberwolves fan, I would love to hear, do you want LeBron on that team? You got Ball. You got Edwards now. You still got Rudy Gobert. Do you want LeBron on that team? I'd love to hear from a Timberwolves fan on that.
I mean, they need size, which, I mean, 6'9", he's not small. I could see him going, though, for some reason, like either 76ers or like the San Antonio Spurs are like the two that I think he would go to. San Antonio's got the warmer weather. They were, one piece away from winning a championship. And then Philadelphia just got a lot better with the Jaylen Brown trade. So you'd think he'd want to go to a place where he can win a championship in these last couple of years. I think the Knicks, and that I could end up looking stupid for saying this, I don't think the Knicks want him.
Yeah, I think, was it Rich Paul, his agent or something, said if they didn't win the championship, then it's a no-brainer.
Then it's like a done deal, yeah. But they won the championship. They have that chemistry. And the Rich Paul thing, he had like this big whiteboard. Yeah. And like it was like the teams like that had starting fives written out or something were like the ones that are like better suitors. And I don't think the Knicks, they just had like NYK for the Knicks and like nothing else.
Yep.
So I think it's probably, one of those teams that has the starting lineup. But I think he would fit better in either San Antonio or Philadelphia.
I wonder, given his age and West Coast, is it Warriors? Just pairing up with Steph Curry, going for it for the next year or two. And, Draymond Green opening up that money. Who else? I think they would have to probably move Jimmy Butler at that point to clear up some space, too. I look at that, or does he look at 76ers now, too, with Brown, and you got Joel Embiid? Is there an opening there? Does he look at it from a conference standpoint? Which conference is easier to get through to try to win a championship? In the West, you have the Thunder still. You got the Spurs that will probably still be there. And then after that, is it a little bit more open? Possibly. Eastern Conference, well, things have changed. Celtics have traded Brown. Obviously, the Bucks have traded Giannis. The Knicks are the defending champs. Yeah, which conference is, quote, easier to get through?
I would say the East still.
Maybe.
I mean, the Knicks, were they the 3 seed?
I think they were like the 4.
Or the 4, and they just
Pistons were up there, but they were early out, so.
Or maybe they were the 2, but I think they just went on a run, really. I mean, they kind of breezed through it, and then I think it just became rust versus wear and tear against the Spurs.
Yeah.
The Spurs went to 7 games before that last series, and the Knicks swept in 4, I want to say.
So Detroit was the top seed. Boston was 2. New York was 3. Cavs were 4. Raptors, who now have Kawhi Leonard, are 5. And then Atlanta was 6. So, and Philadelphia was the 7th seed. But they're different now, too. Yeah, and then, Denver is the other one that's getting mentioned. Could he go and pair up with the Joker? That would be interesting.
That'd be very, very, very different.
Yep. All right, we got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more, though, coming up after these few words. Summer cookout season is here, and nobody does summer grilling better than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From premium steaks and fresh burgers to brats and chicken, you'll find quality and value throughout the store. Before your next cookout, stop by Mike's Star Market and stock up on the freshest ingredients around. You can visit them at 2238 Heimstead Road and make sure to follow their Facebook page as well. Mike's Star Market, helping make every summer gathering a delicious one. We've got a few more texts on the Brewers and Brandon Woodruff. Got Steve saying, yes, that the Brewers should look for another starter by the trade deadline. Ideally, starter, bullpen, and bats. That's quite the wish list, which if they did all that, that would be... I don't know what that would all cost. I don't know who that would all entail, but that's a lot.
Yeah, just go get everything.
Get everything.
Trade the farm.
Yeah, right? Yeah, literally trade the farm for it all. I mean, from a priority standpoint, starter, bullpen, hitter, if you had to name the 3, what would you put as number 1, the most important?
I'd put bullpen as the most important. Mm-hmm. I mean, luckily McGill and Abner seem to be returning to form, but everybody seems gassed in that bullpen right now, which is just a product of how many games they've played in a row. But the bullpen, I'd say, needs some help. But maybe it gets that when Henderson comes back. Maybe you can move Drowan. But now with Woodruff being out, it's uncertain if you can move anybody back to the bullpen. So
yeah,
I would like to see them get at least like one more arm. Like losing Nick Mears now hurts a lot more with the injury stacking up.
Yeah, it feels like, and I'm not saying this is the best option, but it feels like if you had they've got flexibility from the starting standpoint because a lot of their bullpen guys have starting experience now. I mean, you throw in Brandon Sproat, you throw in Shane Drowan, you throw in Chad Patrick. I mean, whenever DL Hall comes back, Aaron Ashby's been kind of moved to that high leverage stuff, but Ashby can give you a few innings. They've got Robert Gasser, Coleman Crowe. They've gotten guys that got experience. So it feels like if you add a bullpen arm, okay, to alleviate some of that pressure from those guys, to maybe you can give them those spot starts that we have seen. But right now, when you look at it, who is that third guy? Is it Logan Henderson when he comes back? And is that a top three that you are comfortable with making a deep postseason run when it gets to it? Because I'm not going to add in Brandon Woodruff at this point because I just don't know what the future is going to be for him. And I'm very concerned about whether we're going to see, him pitch at a high level again. Or for maybe not necessarily at a high level, but for a long-term, solution here for the Brewers. I mean, Miz, Harrison, Logan Henderson, is that a top three that can win you a World Series? Can you win a World Series with Miz, Harrison, and then throw in the rest of the guys as a 3-4? Is that good enough?
I mean, I think so. I mean, but it's funny because, it's always like the postseason experience. I am completely comfortable with them being your top three in the regular season. Even Sproat, his last few games, we can just keep the pitch count down. His last few games have looked pretty good. But so I'm comfortable with that in the regular season. But like you said, the postseason, there's only a little bit of experience with Miz there. I don't think Harrison has any. And I know Henderson and Sproat don't have any. So that's where I start to get worried about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or maybe to counter that, because to play devil's advocate, you look at last year, Miz didn't have any postseason experience, and he pitched really well in the postseason. Chad Patrick was the same too. I just from a comfortability standpoint, I'd feel better if there was another veteran added to that starting mixture. Not saying it would be like a better option than some of the younger guys, but maybe that's the question. Do the Brewers need a veteran starter before the postseason? Do they need to acquire a veteran starter to put in that rotation before the postseason? Is that an important thing, or is that overblown? I think it can be an important thing, and I think it could be, let's assume, and I know it's a big assumption, they don't have any other major injuries to their pitchers. Okay, you add a veteran in. You have the luxury of maybe having a short leash on him when you have arms that can give you multiple innings, like a Chad Patrick, a Shane Drowan, a Brandon Sproat, whatever that. Because when you get to the postseason, you're what? Maybe a 4-man rotation, so you can kind of condense it a little bit. So you've got the ability to have a short leash for a lot of those guys, and if your bullpen guys have experience going multiple innings, that's going to be a benefit when it comes to the postseason. So maybe that's the other side to look at too. But when it comes to pitching, at least I do trust the fact that Chris Hook's going to be able, and Jim Henderson, and those guys are going to be able to figure it out with whoever they bring in. More times than not, they have been able to do that. So I feel comfortable in that aspect. But I hope nobody faults Brandon Woodruff and puts the blame on him. It's not like he's doing this on purpose. He's not going out there and getting hurt on purpose. And I feel like some fans are going to, kind of call out Brandon Woodruff and label him this and that. The dude has tried everything. And that shoulder injury that he had was a career-threatening injury, and maybe ultimately it is a career-ending injury from him. But that guy has gone through so many bad luck crap the last couple of years that you feel bad for him, because when he is pitched this year, he has looked really good when he's been healthy, like really good, and a guy that can help out this team in October. I hate to say this, but maybe you need to pull the Giovanni Gallardo from 2008 where he got hurt at the beginning of the year and then he came back for the postseason, Maybe you do that with Brandon Woodruff. Shut him down, and so he's ready to go when it comes to October. And if you only get 2 games out of Brandon Woodruff or 3 games, maybe that's enough for that postseason run.
Stash him until the NLCS, the World Series, if you make it.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be some fans that are just going to be frustrated at Woodruff, but I can't, because what's he supposed to do at this point?
You can be frustrated with the situation, but not at Woodruff.
Right.
I mean,
yep, exactly. And it stinks. It sucks. Yeah, a lot of people are going to point at the fact that he's getting $20 million this year. Was it a risk by the Brewers? 100% was a risk by the Brewers to offer him that qualifying offer. It worked out for Brandon Woodruff. It worked out for him big time. And I wonder what his career now is going to look like going forward. And I hate saying that. But
yeah.
That's because, that dude did a lot for the Brewers. Whether it was a home run off of Kershaw in 2018 or pitching in some big-time moments. Guy has been a really solid player for the Brewers for a long time. It's just that shoulder injury. I think we're going to look at that as the beginning of the downfall, probably. That major shoulder injury. So.
Yeah. That happened in 23, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he
didn't pitch at all in 24.
Mm-hmm.
Kept him out the first half of the season last year, and then the playoffs.
Yep.
And then, it's kept him out now twice this year.
Yep. So, all right. Let's take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the second hour already at halftime here. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. We got about 7 minutes left to the top of the hour. Then we'll hit halftime here. Coming up at about 9 o'clock. Sounds like we'll catch up with Craig Toyson from the Eau Claire Express, as the Express, again, doubleheader today. Normally would have the day off because it is All-Star break, but they've been dealt with a lot of rain issues this year. So makeup game against Wausau. So a little after 11 o'clock is the first game, and the second game will be just a little after 2 o'clock today. So if you got nothing going on, or maybe you can move some work meetings over to the ballpark, head on over to Carson Park, and let's play 2 today for the Eau Claire Express before All-Star break. Festivities begin tomorrow, which I know the Express are well represented at the All-Star game at the Field of Dreams, too. So that's going to be a cool thing to see that. But you're talking about 6 players from the Express heading down to the All-Star game. So big congrats to the Express for that, being well represented down there. So, but we'll catch up with Craig in about an hour. Also, send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. What was the best? What was the worst? You can send those on over. I think for me, my worst was, the topic of conversation we've talked a lot about so far this morning, just has been Brandon Woodruff and that. So that would probably be my worst from the weekend. Best? How about men's soccer and the reversal that they get their top player back, and should be an interesting night going up against Belgium. Have you been following the World Cup a little bit off and on, or just kind of casually? A little bit
casually, but kind of keeping up. Saw the 2 games yesterday. I think it was England winning later
against Mexico.
Yep, against Mexico. So I'm excited for the game tonight. I remember Belgium eliminating the United States in 2014 when they made the round of 16 for the first time in many years. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of a revenge game tonight.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
7 o'clock tonight. They will, if USA wins, they will play the winner between Portugal and Spain, and that game is at 2 o'clock today, which that would be a tough matchup if USA wins and potentially goes on there. But, that's the deeper you get in this thing, they're going to be tough matchups, right? So, but we already got some matchups. France versus Morocco. That's going to be on Thursday. Norway, moving on. They took down Brazil yesterday. They will be taking on England on Saturday. So still a couple of more TBDs. We got Switzerland and Colombia in action later on this afternoon. Argentina and Egypt will get going at 11 a.m. This morning too. So as we start to wind down a little bit here with the World Cup. But this is the point in time, I think, especially with USA still in it, more people are probably going to get a little bit more eyes on this thing and follow along a little bit more too.
Yep.
So
Just a little correction. The Argentina-Egypt game is tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow at 11?
That's tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the way the schedule's laid out is a little weird.
Yeah. All right. So, good catch there. So, all right. Just a few minutes left to the top here. So, we've got Brewers versus the Cardinals tonight. We got Shane Drone on the mound. Dustin May is going for the Cardinals here. We've got first pitch for tonight's game going to be at 6:45. Coverage begins 35 minutes prior on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So, how do you like this matchup tonight for the Brewers?
I like it. Hopefully, they can fare a little bit better against Dustin May than last time. I mean, they still got the win, but
he had a quality start. Yeah,
it took some late game heroics. They almost got no hit by him the entire game. So,
yep.
I mean, I like it. Should be a fun match. And Drowan, like we've been pointing out, he's still been solid as a starter. Mm-hmm. So, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yep. And then coming up tomorrow for their sorry, I was looking at the wrong day. So for tomorrow's doubleheader. So tomorrow is the doubleheader just for scheduling purposes. The first game's going to be at 1:15. Second game is scheduled for 6:45, but Mizorowski's going to get game one for the Brew Crew tomorrow. So we'll see the Miz kid showing, had one of those games last week, which he can't be perfect in all of them. I know there was some controversy about the earned and unearned runs, which if it wasn't for the Bowers error, and I know that was a Milwaukee scorer that gave that, but that was a big question why he was not charged with those 4 runs, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I think somebody calculated it, and even if you add those 4 runs, I think he's still going to lead the MLB in ERA. So,
yeah.
Did they really matter?
Probably
I guess we'll
not.
find out at the end of the year. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off here in just under a minute. So, again, next hour, we'll get back to some more Brewers talk and that. We've got our VFW Post 305 Best and Worst of the Weekend. Craig Toyson will be joining us for the Eau Claire Express as we get set for a doubleheader today and then a few days off with the All-Star break. So we'll get to that. Continue to send us your thoughts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or on the Section 105 chat room on the video stream on YouTube. So we'll get back to some of those comments and stuff coming up here in just a little bit. But, all right, we got to say adios to Justin, but we'll be seeing you again next Monday.
Yeah, sounds good. Can't wait.
6 to 8 a.m. So, all right, got some news updates. We'll be back to kick off